what's going on, guys? My name is Gunnar, and this is my podcast. If you somehow come across this and you see that I have a bunch of other podcasts, they're all in Portuguese, and this is my first attempt to do a podcast in English. If this goes well, we'll keep on doing it. If not, then I'll go back to my bread and butter, which is Portuguese. I'm from Brazil. I'm a businessman here in Brazil. Probably the most unlikely person to ever have a chance to succeed. I'm not gonna claim that I've gotten there yet, but I'm crawling. I'm running. I'm doing my best. And when I believe that you do your best, that you do everything that you can do, then everything else, the results that come from it, they are a result of, I don't know what's going on with you, what you feel like about life, but I'm a very spiritual person. I'm a Christian, and I believe that my faith is very within my reason, even though I value my faith, because there are certain aspects of every faith that you have to recognize that they have very little to do with logic. But whatever I can just analyze from life, and through analyzing my own life, I've came across this faith that to me makes a lot of sense. My spirituality is a big part of me. So if you do follow me, you will see that I attribute a lot of things to God, but I try to look within my reason to understand the most that I can. And the reason why I do this podcast, actually, it has to do with the fact that I need to think. And I've mentioned this a couple of times before on my Portuguese podcast, how I'm such a big fan of Arthur Conan Doyle, which is the English writer for Sherlock Holmes. And in his Studying Scarlet book, first Sherlock Holmes book ever, whenever Dr. Watson meets with Sherlock Holmes and speaks to him about the solar system, how it works, because back then it wasn't something obvious, he says that our mind is like a closet that has a limited space, and within that limited space you have to understand the things that you really that really make sense to your profession, that really make sense to your life. So within my podcast, I'm just trying the whole time to think, and why I love the relationship between Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson so much is because Watson is a listening ear to Sherlock Holmes. It's not that he needs his advice, he respects him to a certain degree, but Sherlock Holmes, for him to find his reason, he needs to speak out. And whenever he has a feedback from Watson, which is a person, like I said, that he respects to a certain degree, he hears himself speak, and his thoughts, they come to life. And that's why I do my podcast, is because I need to speak. So you guys are my Watson to a certain degree, and that means that I also respect you to a certain degree, because I don't know you personally. I hope we can develop a relationship. I hope that this podcast goes really well in a way that I can reach a lot of people to help them out somehow. You're gonna understand a little bit more about me. I don't claim myself to be a genius or anything, but I love studying, and I love figuring things out, and I love understanding the reasons of things. So I believe that we can have fun together, right? And we're always looking for a voice, and I try to do this every day. So the ones that I don't do, I'm gonna try to do like 3 in Portuguese, 2 in English. So you're probably gonna have around 2 episodes a week for you to follow me, and this is definitely the first one. So far, I'm happy with it. Uh, so just so you know a little bit more about me before I get into the topic that I want to speak about today, and I'm gonna try to be real quick about that. But you have to get to know me a little bit better. Maybe I'm gonna speak more about myself, just so you can get to know who I am and why you should listen to me. Maybe if you want, along the way. So I'm from Brazil, but I've lived in America, in Florida especially, from when I was 12 until I was 21. Came back to Brazil. I'm 34 now. I'm married with a beautiful Venezuelan girl called Daniela, and we have a little baby girl. She's 1 year and 7 months, and her name is Juliana. So we live in Brazil today. I have a business here, work with the stock market here in Brazil. So, I have a couple of businesses, but this is my main one. And English is not my first language. It's not my best language because, I spent most of my life speaking Portuguese. But whatever I can do, however my English is good enough, this might even help me to practice it. So it's not as perfect as my Portuguese. My Portuguese is not so good. What I say to everybody is this: you actually learn how to speak when you're around like 12, right? You start to reach your teens is whenever you start to develop your vocabulary better. And when I was 12, I was learning to speak Portuguese then, right? I could communicate, but my vocabulary wasn't robust or anything. So I went to America and I had to learn from scratch how to speak English. And I spoke Portuguese at home, but it's not you're not like, you just like say, hey, hi mom, can I have food or whatever, right? So I had to learn another language when I was a teenager. And then when I was finally catching up to it, I was finally learning, getting the flow of it better and better, I came back to Brazil. And I had to teach myself how to stop thinking in English again, so I could learn this Brazilian vocabulary, this Portuguese vocabulary, which was necessary for me to just live here, right? I couldn't be like a dumb person, So I had to always, just pick and choose which language I was going to dedicate myself better. So, please forgive me if I make any mistakes along the line. I believe that this might help me even to get better with my English, but I'm going to ask you for your patience, okay? Anyways, the topic that I want to speak to you guys about today is going to be the title of this podcast, which is there are levels to this. I've always heard this in America. This is a very strong expression, and I take it very seriously. There are levels to this. You hear someone when somebody's doing better than whoever else, and they win a game, for example, or a championship or anything, and you just say to the loser, right? There are levels to this. You're trying to show your opponent that he's not worthy of you, that, just strive, work better, work out more, so you can one day achieve this level. And I truly believe that in life there are levels to everything. Literally everything, there are levels to something. This past, let me see, it was probably, what was it, Sunday, yeah. So this past weekend, right, it was October 10th, my father's birthday. October 11th was my father's birthday. And the Los Angeles Lakers, they beat the Miami Heat. And the whole series ended up being 4-2. So for you who might be listening and you're not familiar with how NBA championship works, you need to win in the finals. Out of 7 games, at least 4. So the Los Angeles Lakers, they won 4 games and within 6 games, and the Miami Heat won 2 in the series. LeBron James was the MVP. I believe that within the finals they should have given it to Anthony Davis, but I get it. I get why I mean, you know, definitely my top three players of all time is Michael Jordan. Second comes LeBron James, and then you got Kobe, right? That's my opinion. You know, leave it in the comments wherever platform you're listening. Who is your top three favorite basketball players of all time? The greatest players, maybe not your favorite, because you know favorites. You got your Allen Iversons, you got your Dwight Howards, you got other guys, Vince Carters. You have other guys that are fan favorites, but who you think were the greatest? These are my top three, right? So, anyways, so there are levels to things. You see the Lakers playing, the way that they played throughout the whole season, and there was just like I'm surprised that it wasn't a sweep. I don't know. I love basketball, but I don't have time to keep up with all of the players' names. But Miami played with a lot of heart, and the games that they did win, the two games that they won, they played with so much heart. But when it came down to it, there really was no way that they were going to win against the Lakers. No way. Why? Because there are levels to this. You got like some of the greatest players. You have the greatest player of this generation, which is LeBron James. You have this amazing player in Anthony Davis, which this guy is so tall and he shoots 3-pointers and he can do everything, like Kevin Durant. This I forgot this guy that used to play for OKC and then went to the Warriors, and now I think he's in the New York Jets, not Jets, the New York Nets, Brooklyn Nets. I don't know. Help me out. Forgot his name right now. But there really are levels to everything, right? If you if you're in business, right? That's what I want to talk to you about, because I like to talk a lot about business, and we're just striving to do something great. We have this mentality that we're looking to achieve greatness. So if you want to achieve greatness within your area, right? And just picture whatever industry you're from. And I'm just gonna pick a couple of random ones. And then you let me know yours. But let's say if you're a musician, okay? You play, you sing, you rap, whatever, okay? One thing is you know how to play, and another thing is you know how to play really good. So you need a lot of talent and experience and practice. So it's a bunch of things combined so you can play really good an instrument or even sing really good, because you might have the talent. For example, I envy, and I mean the best way possible, in the sense that I'm honoring them, right? So please understand what I'm saying. I envy so much people that have a singing voice. I wish I had a singing voice. Man, I'm 34, my voice breaks down like a rooster up until today, like I'm a teenager. I look, I'm not out of tune completely, but I don't have a singing voice. I've heard myself singing before. I've recorded myself singing before, and I know that I simply don't have it, right? So some people, they have this naturally beautiful, smooth voice, right? And when you hear people speak or even sing, it's like you're hearing an angel, okay? Now, even those people, if they don't know how to take care of their voices, if they're not technical about it, if they don't have like a singing coach, someone who understands the biology of the vocal cords, you can mess up your instrument, or you may not reach the potential of your instrument. Now, see, you came from a level like my level that I would love to be a singer. I would love to sing. but I could never do it because I wasn't built for this. And I had to come to a point in my life that I realized it, and I came to peace with myself. Look, Gunnar, you gotta do something else with your life. You're not gonna be a singer. Now, and you have these motivational people saying you can do anything you want in life. Don't let anybody criticize you. Look, man, sometimes if somebody tells you you're a terrible singer, guess what, homeboy? You might be a terrible singer, right? So please listen to people who understand what they're talking about. One thing is for you to just listen to everybody and just let everybody's opinions dominate you. And we are living in a society where you have your opinions going out to the world, and you just have your opinions being shared in a way that everyone feels like they can give you a feedback, like they understand a little bit enough just to give, like they feel like they're so important because you just put your business out there, right? And that's your fault too, homie. Forgive me if I might go ghetto on you guys sometimes. I was raised, man, you guys gonna know more about me. I was raised in the ghettos of Fort Myers. I lived within 2 blocks of Plies, which was this rapper that became famous, right? And I got a couple of stories with him. Anyways, so you gotta listen to the right people. Don't put your business out there if you don't want everybody's opinions, because in today's world, they have the platform to just give out their opinion. And you're not gonna listen to anybody, but you gotta listen to somebody. Criticism can make sense, and somebody who understands about a certain subject, they might tell you, look, you're not on that level. And you might understand that you're never gonna get on the level, and you're just gonna have to deal with it, right? Let's say you have a physical limitation, like a shorter leg or something, and you want to be a professional football player. Your dream is to be like a running back. How, man? You gotta understand, you weren't built for this. It's not about, like, stop being delusional. And I'm just giving examples of, I talked about myself just now. I have limitations. Everyone has. And what a lot of people are believing and lying to themselves and to others is to say that you live in a world without limitations. And that's not true. Now listen. Please let me finish. Listen until the end, because guess what? Once you understand your limitations, you also will always have something that you strive on. You always will have something that you can go further than most people. Even within the best elite, when you have Usain Bolt running the 100-meter run, man, all of those guys there, I think that there's this American called Tyson Gay or something, or something like that. But you just have these great runners, great athletes, these people that the difference between the result of the first and the second, or even the last place, is not even seconds, is within like milliseconds. So understand how there are levels to everything. How are the best runners in the world gonna do whenever they compete within the Usain Bolt guy? They're gonna be second, third, fourth, and they are way faster than any of the, like they're the top 10 elite or top 100 elite of like almost 8 billion people. So you understand? Look, you can live off of it. You can, have your sponsors. You can, get some trophies. You might get first place in some races, but the ones that matter, that Usain Bolt decides that he's gonna run, I'm sorry, you're not gonna win. Doesn't matter how much will you have. Doesn't matter how much. And I'm not trying to put you down. Look, the first thing that you need for you to be able to live well is for you to achieve anything actually in life is for you to realize where are you now. And whenever you understand what are your limitations now, you can work on them. You can work on them. When it comes to brain power, my brother, there are people who can, I've heard of this guy the other day that he is 19 and he's gonna start his doctorate in Harvard. Imagine that, 19 years old. He entered law school whenever he was 14. Man, when I was 14, all I cared about was skateboarding. And when I didn't do bad in school, but I had other priorities and I didn't have much direction. So how am I gonna compare myself? Oh, I could have done it too. Oh, if I focused, I could have done it. No. Like, why would I lie to myself? Why would you lie to yourself? There are levels to everything. You need to understand, if you are in a business and if you are singing, as I said, and you want to be a professional singer, you need to know that there are players, and we call them big players, that they own the market, they own the distribution, they have so much experience in it, they have all of the connections, so they know all of the music stores, they know all the places, they know the best and the cheapest way to distribute music. So if you're not just brushing shoulders, if you're not walking with, if you're not working for, because you're not going to be no partner, remember, with these big players, you're not going to have this game figured out. You're not going to go much. I work with the stock market. I mean, I know who the big players are. I know like who the big banks are. And you know what? If I don't have enough cash and technology and experience, I'm not going to be able to compete with these guys. So you have to know your limits. So guys, understand that there are levels to everything. Everything. And once you understand that there are levels to everything, what's your league? You ever heard that that phrase that said something like this? Man, that girl is out of my league. If you are if you were like me, like a scrawny little immigrant kid, I'm not saying this for you to feel bad about myself. I had a lot of fun, and I had I knew what was my lane, and and then you have LeVar Ball, right, saying like, stay in your lane. Hey, he's right. So I knew that a skinny, scrawny immigrant kid that could barely speak English, I was friends, with the pretty girls, but I knew who they wanted. I knew they wanted like the jocks. They wanted. I was a skateboarder. I was, like an undercover nerd that loved comic books. I tried to play cool, but I know I was a nerd, right? In the sense that I was a pretty cool kid that they liked hanging out with me. I had my limitations. I had my friends and my Brazilian friends, and the fact that I had these Brazilian friends made me feel more comfortable. So, I really wasn't hanging out with the American kids. So I didn't really develop these friendships with American kids that I could have, because many of them, they liked to hang out with me. Maybe if I did, they would have known me better. But I saw who the pretty girls in school, who they looked at, who they were attracted to. So I knew there were levels even to that. So whenever you say to someone, hey, that person is out of your league, you got to think about it. You know, especially in high school, people they go a lot for that. Whenever they become older, they realize that that's not enough. And maybe like the nerd kid, maybe the potential that they have to be someone to give the other person happiness and even dedication and love and even a good life, it might be bigger than the jock, right? Because most, let's be honest, most of those guys they're not gonna be pro athletes. So what is a big bunky kid gonna do? You know, work on construction, work on whatever. Some of them succeed in life, but some of them don't, right? That's like anybody else in the world. But at the moment, that's the thing. You only live for the moment. You just cannot go back to the past or go forward to the future to see what's gonna happen. Within the moment, understand there are levels to this. We're gonna for sure speak more on this. Let me know if you liked our podcast. Man, if you followed me, I appreciate it so much. If you somehow heard me, I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for listening. I'm definitely going to post this today. And you know what, guys? God bless you. Stay positive. And I'll see you next podcast. I had fun. All right. Bye bye.